The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Thursday, December 4th, reveal that Sharon Newman and Nick Newman will approve Victor Newman's dirty Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, trick. Since Sharon and Nick are getting desperate, they're counting on Victor to help them score Noah Newman's location. Victor has a sneaky idea on how to get Matt to fall in line, so he'll make a pitch and get Nick's approval along with Sharon's. Naturally, Y&R spoilers say there'll be some risks involved since Matt is even more unhinged than Victor remembers. However, Victor may promise Nick and Sharon that he won't let any harm come to Noah. That's not a promise Victor can make with any real certainty, but he'll probably make it anyway and try to keep Noah's parents calm. Victor will move forward with a strategy that'll help gain a big advantage over Matt. It's sure to leave Matt furious once he gets updates, but it may also force him to play by Victor's rules temporarily. While Victor's putting his tactic in motion, Matt will flex his power during a confrontation with Noah and Sienna Beall. Detective Burrow will also be present for the conflict as Matt backs Noah into a corner, following the failed escape. Noah may finally admit the affair if Sienna's life is threatened, and beg for their freedom. Matt might also make Noah think Nick and Sharon are in danger as his mind games continue. Of course, Matt will be on the receiving end of Victor's own mind games soon enough. Victor is the master of manipulation and will definitely pull a power play that Matt doesn't see coming. Once Victor works his magic and delivers some unsettling news to Matt, the drama will heat up even more. Matt may think he's running the show, but Victor will want to prove he's mistaken about that. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Matt and Victor have additional showdowns ahead of them, so don't miss all the action on the CBS soap. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On The Young and the Restless, Phyllis gave the AI software she stole from Cain to, of all people, Victor Newman. Why would she choose Victor to unleash the beast? The devastating AI software, previously held by Cain Ashby, was stolen from him by someone he called a friend, Phyllis. All of that can be made to make sense, except for the part where Phyllis gives this software to Victor. After all, Phyllis has been through with Victor, including the Jack Abbott impersonator. Why help Victor at all? Diving into some fan comments on this has been engaging. Direct from the soap central message boards, we start to unravel some answers, or at least possibilities. Valued contributor ZenMaster5 said, "This is something that confuses me too. A man she detests, and she gives him software that can annihilate his enemies. On top of that, she wants Jabot for herself. She must know that will not sit well with Summer, who has a lot of love for the Abbotts. Phyllis even knew that Victor would go after Arabesque and told Cain that. So why would she give Victor the tool to destroy a man she claims to care about? I thought Phyllis had a plan to possibly destroy Victor for all that he had done to her. Why would she even trust that he would not double-cross her? It doesn't look like she thought this through at all, unless I am missing something." Regular user Cloverleaf commented, "Phyllis gave the program to Victor because she thought he would destroy Jabot and then give her the company. Of course, she got nothing in writing, and she trusted Victor. He's never going to give her Jabot or anything else. This whole thing is so totally out of character for Phyllis and totally goes against what she would do if she were a real person. Phyllis would never ever trust Victor. It's just illogical nonsense, spewed forth to write a story that makes no sense. So now that Victor has the program, he's going after Arabesque to destroy Cain. What exactly he has against Cain, I have no idea. He's had it in for him since he found out Dumas was Cain. Of course, Victor knew all along it was Cain even before Nice. After all, as we all know, Victor knows everything. SMH Army. This whole SEOL makes no sense. Phyllis would never give Victor the program. It's totally illogical. Is Victor going after Cain? Why? Again, makes no sense. And Cain has become a joke. Victor has destroyed the supposed international business tycoon without even putting up a fight, and he's okay with it. Still left scratching your head? We are, too. But there has to be a method to her madness, right? Not just madness. Stay tuned, soap fans, as Jack prepares to ward off an AI attack by closing down Jabot. despite the many risks and advice he's received from his wife on The Young and the Restless. The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, December 3rd, reveals that Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, will block Noah Newman and Sienna Beall's escape path after Victor Newman's money is rejected. In Los Angeles, Sharon Newman and Nick Newman will reel after searching that addict-filled warehouse where there won't be any sign of Noah. Detective Burrow and Detective Annie Stewart will assure Nick and Sharon that Noah wasn't inside before mulling over Matt's mind games. After Detective Burrow vows to set up a meeting with Matt, he'll insist he's just a dirty cop as far as Matt knows. Once Detective Burrow and Detective Stewart are gone, a nearby drug addict will get Nick's attention and suggest he might have seen Noah for the right price. Nick will end up offering $200, so the guy will talk about seeing Noah a couple hours ago, all strung out with a woman who was in the same condition. At Matt's nightclub, he'll push Detective Burrow for updates on Nick and Sharon's trip to the House of Horrors. Detective Burrow will insist it played out just as Matt expected, and will confirm that he arranged for that guy to supply phony info on Matt's request. Next on Wednesday's YNOR episode, Victor will arrive in LA and head to the Shadow Room after realizing Nick wasn't at the hotel. Once Victor calls Matt Clark by name, Mitch will correct him and pretend he doesn't know who Victor is. Victor will order tequila and share his name, but he'll know Matt's putting on an act. Matt will complain about another Newman getting thrown in the mix, but Victor will warn that he could destroy Matt. After Matt repeatedly denies knowing where Noah is, he'll point out that Noah had an affair with his wife. Matt will hint about Sienna having a drug problem and suggest she could get Noah hooked, too. Although Victor will push Matt to name his price for Noah information, Matt won't accept any money. Once Victor is gone, Detective Burrow will talk to Matt about Victor's arrival, throwing a kink in Matt's plans. However, Matt will seem excited about Victor's inclusion and will hint that it's time to level up. In captivity, Noah will realize they might be able to take the door hinges off with a tool of some sort. Sienna will hand over her necklace, so Noah will use it to remove the hinges and finally get that door out of the way. Just before Noah and Sienna can make a break for it, Matt and Detective Burrow will show up to block their escape path. Victor will finally meet up with Sharon and Nick at the hotel, where he'll talk about coming to put an end to the Matt drama. After Victor recaps his confrontation with Mitch, he'll suspect Matt is after revenge instead of money. Nick and Sharon will also speak with Victor about the addict they questioned, so that'll bring some speculation about him being a plant. Since Noah's life is at stake, Nick will know they need to find a way to pry his real location out of Matt. The Young and the Restless, spoilers say Victor will admit he's got an idea, so stay tuned for any tricky news that's brewing for Matt. On The Young and the Restless, the Abbott family is in danger of losing Jabot Cosmetics to Victor Newman, now that he has the AI program that can destroy a company from within. Jack's idea is to shut down Jabot, so there would be no company that could be infiltrated. However, another solution has already been floated by the Abbott clan. Why isn't it getting the green light? Jack waited until everyone had left the dining room table before bringing Ashley and Tracy up to speed on Victor's AI program. Jack countered that Victor wouldn't give up the chance to squash him, so he didn't believe Ashley could make a difference. However, we're not sure why Ashley isn't insisting that the family at least give this a shot. After all, it's worked before. Back in the late 90s, the Jabots were on the verge of reclaiming Jabot Cosmetics and wresting it out of Victor's control. The mogul had had his mitts on John Abbott's company for about a decade, and the Abbotts had found a way to reclaim it. Victor, of course, had a scheme to hang on to the company. That's when Ashley walked into Victor's office and asked, nay, she demanded that Victor not flex his muscle to keep Jabot from her father. A confused Victor informed Ashley he had every right to do what was in his company's best interest, and that, at the end of the day, business was business. Ashley played the "if you don't do this for me, then what we had meant nothing" card on the mogul. At first, Victor couldn't believe what Ashley was saying. However, she remained firm. Victor decided to put aside his role as a businessman in this instance and gave in to the part of him that's the man who will always have a place in his heart for Ashley. If that worked once before, why aren't the Abbotts trying it again? If anything, the bond between Victor and Ashley is even greater now than it was before because they share Abby. Will Ashley go to Victor and make another plea? Stay tuned to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that a mysterious character death will be explained. The truth behind the loss of Sienna Beall's brother will be revealed, so let's talk about some important clues. In Y&R's December 3rd episode, Sienna handed over a lightning bolt charm on the end of a chain around her neck. Noah Newman needed it to get the hinges off the door they've been trapped behind, but he could tell this charm meant something to Sienna. After Sienna said, "It's my brother's," she quickly amended that to "was" and said it belonged to her brother instead. That abrupt shift from present tense to past tense seems like a clear sign that Sienna had a brother who died. Sienna explained that the lightning bolt was from David Bowie's Aladdin Sane album, so this must have been something that was significant to her sibling. Although Noah eventually questioned Sienna about the situation with her brother, she wasn't interested in talking about it, at least not right then. Based on Sienna's tone and body language, the loss of her brother is something she's still pretty torn up about. There's a good chance Sienna's brother died of a drug overdose when you consider some other hints from Mitch Beall, aka Matt Clark. Matt wants to make Sienna seem like a drug addict as part of his fake story for the Newmans. Since Matt's messing with Nick Newman, Sharon Newman, and Victor Newman, he's now claiming Sienna has a drug problem and keeps playing up the idea that she could turn Noah into one too. This may be a way to hurt Sienna if Matt's using her history, or at least her brother's history, against her. Sienna might have been doing drugs with her brother when he died, or perhaps she simply found him after he overdosed and was unable to save him. Even if Sienna did drugs once upon a time, she might have sworn off them if her brother passed away because of a drug addiction. The cops have been looking into the Bealls and their nightclub when it comes to this drug trafficking operation, but Sienna doesn't seem to know anything about it. Once Sienna gets updates on Mitch, aka Matt, using their business to move fentanyl, that may give her another reason to be furious over his actions. At some point, Noah will no doubt want to revisit this brother conversation with Sienna, who may share the whole difficult story. The Young and the Restless spoilers say this could be a way to bring Sienna and Noah even closer, so stay tuned for any brother-related news she might confess. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of December 8-12 reveal that Kyle Abbott will make a risky move while Michael Baldwin delivers a surprise. Y&R fans will also see a launch party kickoff, so let's discuss what's coming up on the CBS soap. For starters, Audra Charles may be ready to strike back after Claire Newman pushes her too far. Since Audra has a hot temper and definitely knows how to scheme, should Claire be worried about what's in store? Of course, Claire has a sinister history of her own and could get down in the mud with Audra if need be. Audra and Claire's feud could get pretty dangerous on both sides as it heats up in the coming episodes. Speaking of getting dangerous, there'll be more Matt Clark, aka Mitch Beall, drama to keep Victor Newman busy in Los Angeles. Will that allow Jack Abbott to fully take Jabot offline before Victor gets updates? As for Kyle, he'll make a risky move by helping Diane Jenkins Abbott try to take Victor down. Diane already talked about wanting Victor behind bars, so Kyle should be part of this attempt to lock up Claire's grandpa. That could be risky in more ways than one, depending on how Claire feels about all this. In the meantime, Kyle may quiz Claire about their Thanksgiving kiss and wonder if this means something's changed for her. Over with Michael, he'll have a surprise that's going to blow Lauren Fenmore Baldwin away. As Lauren and Michael reach a 20th wedding anniversary milestone, Y&R will have a great standalone episode that's full of special memories on December 9th. While Lily Winters reflects on how she feels about Cain Ashby, Phyllis Summers will have to figure out if she's willing to come clean or alienate Cain with the games she continues to play. Although Phyllis promised the truth recently, there's no guarantee she'll actually confess what Cain already knows about the AI program threat and her Jabot plot. Phyllis is a wild card, so Cain won't know what to expect as this story moves along. Finally, it looks like the Abbott Communications launch party will officially get underway. Will Sally Spectra and Billy Abbott manage to make it through the bash without the Newmans causing any chaos? The Young and the Restless spoilers say the week of December 8-12 will bring some huge news and exciting moments, so stay tuned for all the highs and lows. At the Abbott manse, Jack and Diane continue to debate whether his plan of taking Jabot offline is worth the risk. If they do this, he could lose the legacy that his father built. Jack can't see any other options, and neither can anyone else in the family. He was angry at first, but realized that the mustache wants them to be angry, so their emotions will cloud their judgment and make them easier to attack. His wife can't wait to make it public that Victor has committed a crime. She plans to use their time offline to get all the evidence they need to expose him. Billy strolls into society as Audra mopes out. He joins Sally on the couch, and she tells him how upset her friend is to be alone and unemployed on Thanksgiving. He immediately changes the subject to his brother's plans to rescue Jabot. The topic changes to the upcoming launch of Abbott Communications. Sally is impressed by how excited he is. Billy worries his sober new persona might be too boring for her. As they head for the exit to prove how exciting they can still be, Victor drifts in to goad them, suggesting that they could be in store for another slip-up. Once Victor makes his way to the bar, Jack and Diane arrive. She suggests they avoid the Newman, but her husband can't stay away. Jack immediately starts in on how everything is collapsing on Cain. When he accuses Victor of stealing his AI, Victor plays innocent, but raises his glass to Cain's misfortune. Bustling into Crimson Lights for some tea, Victoria bumps into Nate. No sooner have they sat than Audra arrives and glares at them. She approaches and, after some small talk, points out that he seems to be able to forgive at least one of his exes. They dismiss her. She steps away and eavesdrops. Victoria receives a text from her father and informs Nate she needs to leave immediately. The second she's gone, Audra demands to know if he has reunited with Victoria. Hastings reminds her she has no right to ask after the way she betrayed him. He will admit that he loved her and the future that seemed to be ahead for them. Audra was in love with that too, so she asks him to give her a shot at fixing it. Shaking his head, Nate insists it's too late. He'll never be able to trust her again. Victoria walks into society, brushing past Jack and Diane, and having a brief conversation with them before joining her father. Victor informs her that he needs to leave for LA suddenly. That means she will have to look after the company. She assumes that something has happened to Nick and Noah. Her father will not explain, but assures her he will be there for his family. In the athletic club, Phyllis assumes Cain is about to chase after Lily, caving to her demands. Ashby insists he's now cutting his losses. He's already offered arabesque to Victor for pennies on the dollar. Phyllis can't believe he's willing to throw away all that he's built. Cain insists that he was corrupted and needs to start afresh. He's hardly going to be left destitute and can create something new. When he imagines what his future will look like, she is what he sees. Cain confronts Phyllis again for stealing the AI and giving it to Victor. She accuses him of concocting a conspiracy theory, but he barks at her to tell the truth. He can even admire what she did after he spent so long flip-flopping, but he can't admire her making a deal with Victor. There's no way to trust a man with ice in his veins. If she wants to have a professional future with him, Ashby says she needs to prove her loyalty. She reminds him that he now has nothing to bargain with. He repeats his demand for proof of loyalty, and Phyllis asks where Lily fits into his future. Cain knows that his ex isn't part of his future, and he's determined to put his past behind him. That includes Dumas. A positive start needs to be clean, so if Phyllis wants part of that, she needs to come clean. Phyllis declares that she wants to be a star to prove all the haters and doubters wrong. Can he really promise her that? We'll see, he offers. Leaning in, she agrees to tell him the truth. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that 5 December surprises are in store. So let's discuss the story curveballs and romantic turning points ahead. These Y&R characters will face some big moments in the coming weeks as the excitement heats up. 1. Michael's grand gesture for Lauren. For starters, Michael Baldwin will plan a grand gesture that's sure to sweep Lauren Fenmore Baldwin off her feet. A standalone episode will air on December 9th to celebrate Lauren and Michael's 20th wedding anniversary, so Michael's romantic move will be part of all the fun. 2. Lily looks deep in her heart and rethinks a future with Cain. As for Lily Winters, she'll do some soul-searching this December. so that'll force her to take a closer look at what's in her heart. Since Lily will reevaluate her feelings and whether she could still have a future with Cain Ashby, will she give him some real hope as Christmas approaches? Will Cain have a positive response, or could Phyllis Summers make a mess of things? 3. Noah makes a huge promise to Sienna. Over with Noah Newman, he's got a significant vow in his future. Noah is about to make a huge promise to Sienna Beall, so how far will he go to prove his commitment to her? Sienna may be married to Mitch Beall, aka Matt Clark, for the time being, but is that even legal, considering he lied about who he really was? Regardless, Noah might propose since he'll want to build a life with Sienna in Genoa City. Even if Noah and Sienna simply move in together, he'll want to take a leap with her and let her know she can feel safe with him. 4. Sharon and Nick mull over their post-trip feelings. Next, Sharon Newman and Nick Newman will reflect on their post-trip feelings once they make it back from Los Angeles. After enduring all the Matt drama, Nick and Sharon should be connecting on a whole different level. This trip definitely seems poised to strengthen Nick and Sharon's bond. So could they take a step closer to reunited couple status? With Christmas just around the corner, that'd be a great way for Sharon and Nick to celebrate. 5. Victor and Nikki find the holiday spirit. Finally, Victor Newman and Nikki Newman will get a good dose of the holiday spirit. Once Nikki and Victor take a moment to count their blessings, they'll get a lesson about Christmas and what it really means to them. However, it could be the calm before the storm, since Matt will eventually make his way to Genoa City for another round of his typical chaos. The Young and the Restless, spoilers say, Matt will make some updates to his strategy and unleash more horror. So stick with us for all the news to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that a marriage proposal twist could be coming up. Is a shocking couple about to get engaged on the CBS soap? Y&R fans know Sienna Beall is currently married to Mitch Beall, but he's technically not a real person. Since Matt Clark has been masquerading as Mitch and presumably got hitched using fake documents, his marriage to Sienna may not even be legal. Regardless, Noah may be on the verge of popping the question. Sienna and Noah Newman have been through a pretty traumatic ordeal together, so that's only strengthening their feelings for each other. We know that once Noah and Sienna make it past all this captivity drama, she'll head to Genoa City with him. Whether a divorce is required or not, Sienna will be ready to put Mitch, aka Matt, behind her. As for Noah, he'll commit to Sienna in a big way. Noah will make a bold move and prove to Sienna that he wants something real, so he might deliver a marriage proposal and hope to lock in their future. Since Y&R spoilers point to Noah's major commitment, Sienna may find herself contemplating a new engagement ring soon. Although Sienna may have some reservations, Noah might be charming enough to talk her into this. If so, you can bet that'll set off some alarm bells for Sharon Newman and Nick Newman. Nick and Sharon may worry that Noah's fallen too fast and too hard for a woman who's not right for him. However, Noah is a grown man who can make decisions for himself. Although Noah made some bad ones when he had an affair and provoked Matt's wrath, he may be determined to have a fresh start with Sienna. Sharon and Nick would have preferred to see Noah settle down with sweet, adorable Allie Nguyen, but he cheated on her instead. Now Noah seems ready to go all in on Sienna, so he may give Nick and Sharon updates on some engagement news down the road. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Noah and Sienna will have a December to remember, so stay tuned. Jack considers a bold Jabot shutdown to outmaneuver Victor's stolen AI, shifting their decades-long rivalry into new territory. In the December 2nd episode of The Young and the Restless, Jack moved toward the most extreme decision of his career, shutting Jabot down before Victor can weaponize the stolen AI that already crippled Cain's company. With the Abbott communications launch days away and Victor circling for a clean strike, Jack recognized that the only way to break the cycle was to pull the plug entirely, a move that could protect the family legacy or shatter it in the process. Jack prepares a Jabot shutdown to prevent Victor's AI assault. Cain surrenders everything to Victor, raising the stakes across Genoa City. Audra pushes Nate for answers as trust fractures again. Jack laid out the situation plainly to Diane. There was no firewall strong enough, no tech solution that could disarm the AI Victor stole from Cain. The program had already reduced Arabesque to rubble, and Jabot was next if they stayed online. Jack explained that shutting down every digital system for months, storefront, operations, and manufacturing, was the only way to escape becoming Victor's next trophy. Cain's collapse only underscored the urgency. After admitting defeat, Cain walked into Victor's home and handed over what was left of Arabesque. His surrender confirmed that Victor already knew how to wield the AI with ruthless precision. Cain's downfall left Jack with a clear picture of what could happen to Jabot if he hesitated. Jack's move is not strategic posturing. It's a direct acknowledgement that Victor operates under an entirely new set of rules. This is no longer a corporate rivalry built on boardroom maneuvers. It's a technological weapon that rewrites the balance of power. The shutdown represents a philosophical shift for Jack. He has always fought Victor through open confrontation, public pressure, or business counterattacks. But Victor neutralized all of that when he turned Cain's AI against him. Walking offline is Jack refusing to play the game on Victor's terms. It's a counterpunch that the mustache cannot predict, and one that blunts the impact of the AI entirely. Inside the Abbott family, the decision lands differently. Jabot has always been the symbol of their identity, John Abbott's legacy, their unity, their pride. Shutting it down challenges every instinct Jack has as a son, brother, husband, and CEO. If Jack proceeds, Jabot's shutdown will rattle every corner of Genoa City. Employees will panic. Investors will question his leadership. Victor will be forced to recalculate. And for the first time in a long time, the Abbotts will control the pace of the war rather than Victor. But the emotional impact is even more significant. Diane worries about the risk, yet she stands by his side. Billy is already preparing for the repercussions at Abbott Communications. The entire family senses the magnitude of what Jack is about to do, and how it might permanently reshape their feud with Victor. Phyllis and Cain could have been sizzling hot, but they fizzled out quickly. On The Young and the Restless, December 2nd, Phyllis and Cain continued to clash. On today's episode, Phyllis had her back against the wall as she lied to his face. Loyalties and ambitions are being tested, which is why their passionate love affair crashed and burned before it started. Cain and Phyllis couldn't keep their passionate love affair going. Phyllis and Cain could have been the hot new couple that Y&R needed. The soap has been lacking romance, power couples, and love stories lately. Phyllis and Cain are different from others in that they deserve each other because they're willing to screw each other over. Cain and Phyllis's hookup has been entertaining in many ways. But they can't separate the bedroom from the boardroom. Their egos have gotten in the way. Phyllis still wants power, and she wants Cain under her thumb. Cain and Phyllis have butted heads the moment they jumped into bed. Cain tried to determine if Phyllis had stolen his AI program. What drove Phyllis crazy was Cain's conversation with Lily. Has Phyllis found a new archenemy on Y&R? On Tuesday's episode, Cain shared that he lost his way after his empire crumbled. He was sick and blinded by power and greed. Phyllis doesn't think he has it that bad since he's now a billionaire. However, Cain knows that Phyllis stole his AI software and gave it to Victor in exchange for Jabot. Their relationship changed the moment his program was snatched out of his hands. Phyllis tried to change the conversation to Lily, but failed. Cain wouldn't let her have any of it. Both have issues with Mitch/Matt. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, December 4th, tease fans with a Noah and Matt confrontation, while Victor continues his winning streak. Noah thought he was only having an affair with the wife of the man who brought him to Los Angeles and supported his efforts to open a club in America. In Genoa City, that's not even a crime. Every single person Noah knows, from his grandpa Victor, to his grandma Nikki, to his mom Sharon, his dad Nick, his aunt Victoria, his uncle Adam, his aunt Abby, and his sister Mariah are all serial cheaters. So how was Noah supposed to learn that there might be negative consequences to such a lifestyle choice? Except that Noah wasn't just having an affair with the wife of the man who brought him to Los Angeles and supported his efforts to open a club in America. Noah was having an affair with Sienna, who was married to Mitch. Or is that Matt, the man who framed Nick for his own murder? So Noah is in a lot more trouble than he expected. But has he finally figured his way out of it? Would you watch Victor go? He's in Genoa City, telling Nikki he is going to destroy Cain. Then he's in LA. Telling Matt he's going to destroy him. Then he's in Genoa City, telling Victoria he's going to destroy Jack. Now, Victor is headed back to LA to get Nick, Sharon, and Noah out of the jam they've gotten themselves into. That Newman private jet is really getting a workout. How much fuel is he burning? Is Victor Newman single-handedly causing climate change? Well, if he is, he's doing it for his family. And if you object, well, he'll destroy you too. Even Michelle Stafford can't resist a good deal, the young and the restless star. Michelle Stafford had a lovely Thanksgiving. As part of the holiday tradition, the actress indulged in some Black Friday shopping, a journey that she shared with fans. The day after Thanksgiving, millions of people go Black Friday shopping to find the best deals. Stafford was one of the many people who participated in the tradition this year. On Instagram, the actress shared her Black Friday shopping trip with her kids, Natalia and Jameson. Wearing a red Christmas sweater and drinking coffee, Stafford greeted her followers. "I've decided, probably foolishly, to go Black Friday shopping with my children." She then switched the camera to her kids, who were walking beside her. "I may regret this decision." While Black Friday is often a busy and hectic time, it was surprisingly calm for Stafford. "Nothing's open. We've foolishly come super early because we thought there'd be millions of people here." The family's first stop was Dylan's Candy Bar, where Natalia and Jameson stocked up on sweet treats. "Really, the greatest candy store," Stafford declared as she showed off the assortment of candy. Next, the group went to Sephora, where Stafford and Natalia found some great deals. "50% off, basically free," Stafford replied. As she browsed the products, Stafford pitched the idea of Sephora selling her skincare brand, Skin Nation, at their store. During the checkout, Stafford couldn't resist getting another present for herself, a tiny plush reindeer. After a morning of shopping, it was then time to take a breather. Stafford and her kids stopped at a local cafe for lunch, where they toasted to their successful shopping trip. While Stafford will have lots of gifts under the tree, it may be a different story for her Y&R character. Phyllis is known to be a troublemaker, and she did do some naughty stuff this year. From stealing Cain's AI software to crashing Christine's bachelorette party, she might be on Santa's naughty list. However, Phyllis has also had some challenging ordeals this year. She and Sharon being held captive was a traumatic experience for the redhead, but it did have her and Sharon making peace after years of feuding. So, maybe that will earn her a spot on the nice list. Sharon and Nick and Noah and Sienna are as good as saved. The young and the restless, spoilers for Wednesday, December 3rd, remind Genoa City, the audience, and thus the world, that no problem can be solved until Victor is the one to solve it. Guess who is off to Los Angeles? "Victor has shown his family how wonderful he is over Thanksgiving," taunted Cain, and now he is ready to jet off to California to fix the mess Nicholas and Sharon have so stupidly gotten themselves into. Victor walks into the club and confronts Matt. He waits patiently for the villain to fold. Consider the problem handled. The aforementioned and stupid Nick and Sharon are currently trapped, and while Victor is busy with Matt, they are forced to think for themselves. Surely, no solution they can come up with would ever be as elegant and skilled as Victor would have done, but they can do their best. The alternative is to sit around and wait for Victor to swoop in and save them, which is what will ultimately happen anyway. Meanwhile, an even less competent couple, Noah and Sienna, are even more trapped than Sharon and Nick. They are literally locked up. They're not sure why or by whom, but that's not as important as how. As in, how are they going to get out? Sure, Victor will eventually rescue them too, but Noah has been trying so hard to prove that he's a big boy who can take care of himself, so he's going to try to, like in the words of every toddler, do it myself. The young and the restless characters, Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore, played by Christian LeBlanc and Tracy Bregman, respectively, got married on screen 20 years ago. Now, Y&R is celebrating this momentous anniversary with a standalone episode that is dedicated to the happily married Baldwins. LeBlanc told TV Guide magazine, dated December 1st to December 21st, that the date of Michael and Lauren's 20th wedding anniversary snuck up on him. "It was such a surprise," the actor said. LeBlanc shared that his TV spouse is someone who knows dates, times, and years. That said, he was happy to be reminded that the day was coming up. The actor says he wanted to view as much of the past as possible in preparation for the standalone anniversary episode dedicated to Michael and Lauren, set to air on Thursday, December 9th. LeBlanc believes that fans of the show will enjoy the material the producers chose for this upcoming episode. LeBlanc and Bregman have a solid level of trust working together. In fact, he says it's been there since the beginning. While Michael and Lauren were acquainted with one another, it was problems with Kevin that prompted the two to share more screen time. Kevin was in a jam and he'd professed his love for Lauren. She didn't feel the same way, but she was willing to try to help him. As a friend, Michael and Lauren have faced a few challenges throughout the course of their marriage. They have battled Sheila Carter, Terrible Tom Fisher, and Carmine. More recently, Victor Newman is the man who has come between Lauren and Michael. Victor wanted Michael to aid him in his plan to bring down Jack Abbott. While Michael was loyal to Victor, he also considered Jack a friend. Michael ended his professional relationship with Victor as a result. The mood between them when they were at Cain's party in France last summer was still fairly tense. Recently, however, Michael has rejoined Victor's team as a result of Cain's threats to use his AI program. Now, Victor's in charge of that program. Will he and Michael come into conflict again? How might that affect his relationship with Lauren? Young and the Restless has seen some true love on Y&R, but also some really bad romances. Today, we're going to count down the worst pairings of 2025 on the CBS soap. We're going to talk about the 5 couples that fans really hated this year. We'll count down from number 5, which was bad, and work our way down to the number 1 worst romance of the year. Now, I know this is still in process, and it's probably going to drag into 2026, but it's bad. Fans have big issues with Daniel Romalotti and Tessa Porter as a couple for more than one reason. First, Tessa Porter is a married woman. She's hitched to Mariah Copeland, who is going through a mental health crisis right now. Second, many fans hate that Y&R is destroying the only gay couple on the CBS soap. A lot of viewers like Mariah Copeland and Tessa together. They've been steady for each other. They've been loyal and in love, even going down the road to adoption. Then they found out that baby Aria was diagnosed with deafness. They went through the process to help recover her hearing by getting cochlear implants done. Of course, this is a soap. And on Y&R, couples always split up. Daniel Romalotti is still grieving Heather Stevens' death. He and Tessa have been on this friendship cycle, which then turned into a slow-burn romance. But still, it's dodgy. Phyllis Summers is worried about Daniel getting his heart broken on Young and the Restless, and it's just messy. It also feels tone-deaf. Honestly, Young and the Restless hasn't been a hotbed of juicy romances this year. Sharon Newman and Nick Newman were teased, but that hasn't manifested, which is frustrating. I will say, I think Daniel and Tessa are good for each other, but I prefer them as friends. Still, I suspect Daniel and Tessa may be getting a lot closer soon because Josh Griffith is, let's face it, a mediocre writer on his good days. The big question is whether Mariah will be put on the back burner and Tessa moves on without her, maybe getting a divorce. Or maybe Mariah gets her mental health act together, comes back, and fights for her marriage. But yeah, I think Daniel and Tessa are a very problematic couple. Y&R has taken 2 very complex and interesting characters, taken them each out of much hotter romances, and paired them in a relationship that is frankly boring and with zero drama. Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman talk about their kid, Connor Newman. They mostly just do what Victor Newman tells them. That's what they do these days. Chelsea and Adam were interesting years ago when she was faking paralysis and framing him for a crime. Chelsea was interesting with Billy Abbott, and Adam was on fire with passion for Sally Spectra. But he and Chelsea together? That's like watching paint dry on a good day. If the head writer was more creative, Josh Griffith could probably make something interesting out of Adam and Chelsea. I mentioned before the backstage rumor that Melissa Claire Egan is one of Josh Griffith's favorites and that she asked him to put Chelsea back with Adam. Now, whether that's true or not, the fact is Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman are a snooze fest. I think as long as they're together, it's going to stay that way unless Y&R fires Josh Griffith and somebody else comes in and revs up the writing. So that's why they are on our worst romance list of the year. Let's be real, Nate Hastings was too good for Audra Charles from the start. Yes, he used to be a cheater. Nate fooled around with Elena Dawson when she was with Devon Hamilton, and then he cheated on her with Victoria Newman. But Hunky Nate has done some self-reflection. He cleaned up his act, and I think he deserves better on Young and the Restless. Audra Charles is not better. Don't get me wrong, I like her as a character. She's complex, gorgeous, sexy, and a schemer. She's had to bootstrap her way through life. I like her character. Honestly, I'd like to see her with Adam. Audra was lying to Nate from day one. He doesn't even know her real last name, which is Cortez. Plus, she and Holden were doing some shady stuff in LA that's going to catch up with her soon. Nate is absolutely in the dark about Audra's past criminality. Then, present-day Audra cut that filthy deal with Victor Newman and Kyle Abbott for a cash investment in her company. Claire Grace Newman was kind of right that if Audra had succeeded, that would be prostitution. That's the definition when you swap money for sex, whether it's with you or somebody else. Nate still doesn't know the extent of what Audra did with Kyle. Plus, Audra conspired with Victor to steal a company from Tucker McCall, if you remember. Audra just doesn't seem to care who she hurts on her climb to the top. That's why she keeps falling back down. When she was with Nate, I really enjoyed the change we saw in Audra, the softer side. I liked her with Nate. I liked her bonding with Amy. But then Audra went right back to her old scheming, ruthless ways. She basically broke Nate's heart by plotting to seduce Kyle Abbott. I do think Audra actually loved Nate. It's just a bummer that Audra ruined everything. I'd like to see her with a schemer. Nate seems to be on a path to get back with Victoria. These two psychos were together in 2024, and it carried over into 2025 until Jordan Howard kicked the bucket after Claire served her a cup of poisoned tea. Ian Ward is presumed dead, but we know he's not. Jordan and Ian seemed like a match made in hell. They were evil, vengeful, and psychotic. They wreaked havoc. They drugged Sharon Newman and drove her half insane. They murdered Heather. Obviously, it was bad that Jordan and Ian were partners in crime. But when Young and the Restless revealed they were bed buddies too, that really upped the ick factor. It's hard to imagine any woman willingly getting with psychotic Ian Ward. Thankfully, he and rotten Jordan Howard are done, but not so good as he's still alive. Our very worst couple of 2025 is Claire and Kyle. I don't think Claire and Kyle's romance was ever really healthy. Claire was innocent in matters of romance, but very skilled in revenge, lies, and treachery because that's how she was raised. She didn't know better. Meanwhile, Kyle was a spoiled brat who didn't connect with Claire in a meaningful way. This is the same reason that Kyle Abbott and Lola Rosales didn't work out back in the day. Kyle is a nepo baby born with a silver spoon in his mouth and coddled by his dad, Jack Abbott. Plus, Kyle was Claire's first relationship, her first everything, so it didn't make sense for her to settle down with Kyle. Then he got really controlling when Claire was trying to take a step back. Kyle absolutely betrayed her with Audra. He cheated. Then he didn't listen or give her space when Claire asked for it. Instead, Kyle doubled down and proposed. Claire said recently she felt like Kyle was trying to control her, and she had enough of that from Jordan. At least Claire has realized she's not ready to settle down, which is what Kyle Abbott continues to push on her. Plus, he's been using his son Harrison to keep Claire close. I think it was sweet when she and Kyle first got together, but then it got more toxic when Kyle lied and was overstepping with Audra and tried to control Claire. I'm hoping they're done for good.